All right, everybody, we are back live here on Facebook and YouTube. My name is Brown Legru, and I very much welcome you to today's live stream, where I've invited three guests again to share their success stories in business with you here today. I'm very much looking forward to having these three gentlemen share what they've come up with over the last few months and even years in terms of the success stories. And we see already that we got plenty on here. It is lunchtime here in South Australia. Yesterday we had people, from here, US, and even Brazil join us as well from around the world. So this is really great. I love live events. I typically love them in venues, but with the internet, it just makes it so much easier for people to join from everywhere. And so whether you are seeing this right now at the start, or you will be joining us sometime later today when the episode has ended, I already say thank you for coming along. We're going to share a little bit more, like I said, with three other guests, what we have done in the last few weeks, months, and even years, and how that really has impacted their business, because we're right now this week making, we have opened up the doors again to Business Development Accelerator, which is our 18-week training and coaching success system for business owners that particularly are in the services market. They offer services, and there's always ways for us to work smarter, not just harder. There's ways for us as business owners to free up time so that we can enjoy life more, because the last thing you want to do is work like a slave and keep trading time for money. And for example, also, spend a lot of time in your business, like 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and even 100 or more hours a week. If you're in that boat, probably there's chances that you can do something differently and that you can work smarter. The second thing is that you also, of course, want to make more money, because why would you start up a business without making more money than you would if somebody else would employ you? Third, what about more freedom? I don't know about you, but the last time when I started up my business 11 years ago, I wanted freedom. I wanted freedom so that I could pick up my child when I wanted him, so that he wouldn't have to stay around in after school care. I wanted to also, be able to go to his assemblies, and just not having anyone to ask, hey, can I go there and do this? And when I want to go on a holiday, I just want to go on a holiday. I don't need anybody's permission to do it. And so all this freedom comes, of course, if we have our business and if we have made the business work for us, so that we're not always having to be in the business. And last but not least, we obviously want to have less stress. So if we have all these things going for us, we're doing really well. I want to say again, a big welcome for people that are coming along. I've seen here some comments here, and I'm just going to check in with them. Hello, Daniel. Well, good day in Taiwan. We've got people, like I said earlier, coming in from everywhere. Hello, brother. Always a pleasure to see you here. We've got our guests lining up here. The first one is already in the room, so he'll be joining us in just a few moments. But again, I wanted to share with you guys, you're in for a treat. These three gentlemen, I have a lot of respect and time for them. I have seen how far they have come in a short period of time. And, I won't say too much about them first, but in about 7 minutes, we'll let the first guest into the room. And thanks already, that you're already ready to come. I see you smiling, so that's all right. You're still on mute, buddy. All good. Now, look. Business Development Accelerator, what is this all about? Well, over the last few years, I've done now 11 years of training and development and coaching in the business arena. And I've worked people on their psychology, how to use psychology to create buy-in, so that they actually can position themselves as a trusted advisor in the mind of a client. And so that they also increase their strike rate and that they attract more ideal clients to their businesses. And so all these things we're going to touch on today. We're going to touch on communication and the value of our communication in business as a business owner. We're also going to touch on things like, your sales process. Like, how is it that, if you really know how to put the right ingredients together in the right order, that you can actually unlock the right value at the end. Because last thing you want to do is for you and your team to spend a lot of time that ends to be idle, where you just flog dead horses, where you are getting a lot of headway initially, but then the close doesn't happen. That is time wasted. And time is our most precious resource. That's the first thing that I would say here. And we can never gain it back. If you invested 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours in going for an opportunity, and the opportunity, even though these people want your services, but they're not taking it up, guess what? Yeah, you can work smarter. And that is, again, today's live stream episode. So I'm going to look at, see at my notes here. I've got obviously my cheat sheet here just to make sure that we stay on track, because I have a little bit of a tangent alert tendency. And I want to make sure that we really make the most of our time together, because I do value that. So anyway, appreciate the likes, guys. Appreciate you guys sharing the love, and I appreciate you guys joining in. Again, we've got lots in store for you today, and we'll touch on a little bit more about Business Development Accelerator in a moment. Now, without further ado, Chris, I'm going to get you in a little bit earlier because I want to get started with this right away. So are you ready, buddy? Let's bring you into the live stream. Here we got Chris, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Chris. How are you going?
Good, Bram. How are you, mate?
Very well, buddy. Good on you. I see a beautiful background there with, is that sort of like memorabilia from sports and stuff behind you?
No, not very sporty. More so, more geek fandom. There's a lot of Star Wars paraphernalia back there. Marvel, Disney things.
Beautiful, beautiful. I didn't know that you were into that sort of stuff, but you're obviously a superhero.
Thanks, man.
Hey, now just checking with everybody. Is our sound and the video quality okay? Because we had a comment yesterday from a gentleman that said that it wasn't always super. If you could let us know in the chat, that would be greatly appreciated. Making sure that we can, tweak the buttons, amp it up, slow it down. If I'm too loud, please let me know. And making sure that the quality of the video is also really there where it needs to be. So if you could let us know, that'll be great. Otherwise, I'll keep an eye on the comment sections there, which is great. Now, first of all, Chris, give us a quick rundown. Who are you?
So I am a salesman through and through. I've worked in sales for now 11 years, and fortunate enough to cross Bram's path about 5 years ago now. My first engagement there was the Business Development Academy 1.0. And it was a real eye-opener. Having just worked in business to client sales up until that point, I'd never really thought too much about why I was not closing deals, just still getting really excited about the ones I was closing. And looking back and reflecting, the biggest difference that I found was my understanding of the high C's in that disc profile. Because I'm an off-the-charts high I, and I would literally terrify C's. Yeah. I scared the high C's to the point, no matter what my approach was, because I was coming in so strong and so intense and with so much energy, I could not close anyone that was in a high C bracket. Generally, I didn't have too much issue with people in the high D, but I did have to still slow down a lot for people in that higher S section. So understanding where I'd made previous errors and then being able to understand how I can not do those again made an enormous difference to the industry I was in at the time, and then every industry I've worked in since. And that scaled.
If I can stop you there for a moment. I mean, you mentioned the industry that you were in. So first time when we met, you basically were in the flooring and carpet sort of industry, correct?
Correct, yes. So my transition went from selling flooring direct to clients, a lot of home visits, a very consultative sales style process, and then most recently it was large-scale business-to-business commercial contracts in the multi-million-dollar scope. So it was a pretty rapid transition, and all of the learning on the behavioral profiles and the styles that you can approach different individuals was worth volumes, which is why then after Business Development Academy, I then attended Communication Mastery, the National Sales Conference, where I met one of the guests checking in today, and then Business Development Academy 2.0 and Communication Mastery 2.0. It's been a wild ride, absolutely wild ride.
You've done full circle. And if we just have a look at your journey that you've been on, you described some of the programs you've done along on the way. But let's just say from the time when you were selling carpets and floors, which were like what, $3 grand jobs?
Correct. So the average sale there was $3,000. My biggest that I ever did was $55,000. And then now to be transacting and signing, 3-4 year contracts at $1 to $4 million per annum was a big difference.
Wow. And that you've been able to achieve in what sort of time frame?
In 4.5 years.
In 4.5 years. First of all, well done. Selling, let's say, floors and blinds in traditionally also a bit of a hard selling environment. You had to close them there and then, right? Then you mentioned on the phone yesterday when we were talking that you always felt a certain way when you were putting people on the spot back then, 4 years ago. Can you expand a little bit more on the feelings you had when you were doing hard selling?
Yeah, so the traditional way of selling is it's losing its power, for one, which is a good thing because it was a very intimidating way of selling, forcing people to buy things that potentially wasn't the right fit, but using strict sales forms to close deals. And it always made you feel wrong inside. Even when you got the deal, you'd never felt great about it because you weren't selling from that integrity and, really the customer's interests and their, priorities at your heart. So taking into consideration and asking the right questions to get the right result makes you feel so much better when you've got that up your sleeve. So it feels really nice.
That's it. We spoke a lot about integrity. We spoke a lot about, honesty, transparency, and ethical sales instead, so you've gone from that hard selling over to the more consultative, trusted advisory type of selling, which is a very different ball game. I would say, in my view, the hard school of selling is more like an 80s type thing where it's one way and it's my way or the highway, which obviously a lot of people since those 80s have gotten burnt. It got sales a negative connotation. People started feeling really bad around salespeople. And a lot of people in the sales arena actually don't like thinking of themselves in sales because of all that stigma and negativity, right? So obviously, then I came along, our paths crossed. I showed you a different way where you can actually use psychology and look for ways to help the client and advise them in a way where you create mental and emotional buy-in. Yeah. If you could just walk people through again, I think the big epiphany for you initially, even though you started first with another program, but your big epiphany probably was when you did the disc-based sales training, which is communication mastery, right? So you've done version 1. Later on, then you join in version 2. Could you just describe us very quickly, how that is such of impact in sales if you want to do things ethically?
So you touched on it yesterday. This whole process of treating people how you want to be treated is completely wrong. You're only able to effectively communicate them with 25% of the human race. So trying to understand and pick up on the cues, the way that people even walk into the room, the first couple of words out their mouth, you can usually isolate them into primarily one of the 4. And you can switch your language and the words that you use, same sentence, but with different words, then it has a different effect. And you get more emotional buy-in almost straight away by using the same words. And, a thesaurus is your best friend in this scenario. So if you find that someone's using very loving, caring words, they're probably in a high S. If they walk in and go, oh my God, I love this flooring, for example, you go, okay, a high S. Or this is such a cool floor, that's a high I. It's like, that floor will do.
Up, right?
Yeah. And then if someone walks in and goes, that floor will do, they're a high D. They've just walked in, they've picked it. You don't need to waste the time that they don't have or want to spend if they've already made the decision the second they walked in the door. So you had to, it was a great learning ground because I got to speak to a lot of different people in flooring. And then in the corporate world, there was a lot more analysis. The greatest example was of the gentleman that I spoke to you about during Communication Mastery 2.0, which I closed the deal during that training, where the initial introduction pegged him as a high C to the level that I had not engaged with. And that kind of scared me because I know how polar opposite I am.
Yes, because if I can put you down there, on the disc, you guys are each other's opposites, right? So you are far high on the charts on the I side, and he would be high off the charts on C, which means there's a huge gap.
Yeah, exactly. So this was to the point where I knew I needed to change my approach entirely. And we gave this gentleman the power he needed to make the right decision, the time, and all the information. Way more information than we would ever give to anyone that even wasn't that high a C, but still a high C. So this gentleman was off the charts to the point where we had to provide, I think it was close to 400 pages of documentation.
Wow.
We set up our entire office the way that we were pitching to have his office set up for the purposes of the contract. So we changed our office, we changed the approach, we changed the way that we had the paperwork laid out. We had everything, cross-stacked. So it was the first topic was this way, the next one was this way, and the next one was that way. So as we worked through our first meeting, it was all very, very organized, which hurt me emotionally to do. But the end result was that he was so thrilled with the level of detail, and he could make much more of an informed decision than any of the other processes that were presented to him. And that meant so much to hear that feedback and the level of transparency in our communications as well. He then noticed that there was pitfalls and a lot more questions for the other people, and then they weren't responding in ways that were really concise, which he needed. So it was a no-brainer for him because we'd put in all that effort beforehand and prepared for the fact that he was going to analyze every single detail. It took months, and he decided to go with us.
Wow. And as you're sharing this story again with me, first time, of course, with the viewers, but again with me, I get goosebumps again because knowing, that how far off the charts on this you are and how this gentleman was so polar opposites, and knowing how much analysis, information, preparation, and due diligence that this gentleman requires, it just goes to show that you, Chris, kudos to you, that you have really gone out of your way, literally out of your I way, to become more C, which means that you have treated the client the way that he wants to be treated. And of course, he could not other ways than to gift you his business. And that's just how it is, because you were willing to be of service to him, speak his language, relate to him on his level, and communicate the information that he was after to make up his mind. And I find it interesting how you said it hurt me emotionally, because yes, as a high I, you like flexibility, being agile, having fun, not too much planning, but you knew that you couldn't go that way in with this guy, right? Yep.
Yeah, it would have been a wasted effort. If we tried any other approach, we would have been like every other company.
Hey, 2 thumbs up for you, buddy. I love the story. And that was like, what sort of deal? Let's talk about the levels.
At the stage when he signed it, it was $2.1 million total over 3 years.
Wow. Well done. And very often in that company that you referred to, very often where you start and to what value a contract grows over time can be substantially huge difference, right?
Absolutely.
I remember the same CEO who, by the way, has also done communication mastery back in the days. The CEO who was there before you. He mentioned to me once that a $100,000 deal could turn into a $10 million contract over time. And so I've seen that over the years several times happen. And look, I'm so stoked for you. Imagine now, 4 years ago, you were selling hardcore sales, selling floors and blinds, then suddenly now selling multi-million-dollar business services deals, right? And going to the extent that you've gone, like months of preparation and communication back and forth. That's phenomenal. I cannot share or come up with a better story of how the boardroom was prepared than the way that you had set it up with, little tags on chairs like they do in the theaters and so on, to keep the 1.5 meters space and that sort of stuff for COVID reasons. You've gone out of your way. So well done again.
Thanks, Bram.
Look, Chris, you mentioned Business Development Academy. And of course, in your, I would say, still pretty young career, you were already a top performer back in the days when I met you in your industry of flooring, and I think you said like you were doing about $1.2 million worth of flooring and blinds contracts for the year.
Correct. Per annum, it was around 1.1 to 1.3.
That's right. Now, in what sort of level does that put you in that industry?
Top 10%.
Top 10%. And would you say that you would have had a lot of training on the role on how to close?
Not in the job, not in an ethical way. So yes, there was training, but it didn't sit well with my self emotionally. And when I was able to bring in your teachings to my day-to-day transactions and building relationships, and again, consultative, there was more opportunity presented on a daily basis from the fact that I treated people with the respect that they wanted.
Exactly. And well, look, so that was then we started working together and have done now for a number of years. Could you take people again through like how Business Development Academy, that obviously talks about the 7 to 8 main skills. Where would you say that the 8 skills, where did you see that you got most value from for you to really increase your strike rate? You know, you've had, for example, the planning, you've had the creating first impressions, the prospecting side of things, qualifying, you had presenting and demonstrating, you've got influencing, and then of course converting. Where have you had most value from to help you earn more money?
It very early on makes the biggest difference, especially as someone who was unaware of their off-the-chart I category. As I said, I would legitimately scare people away from being so excited about having the opportunity to help them out. So my first impression, I had to scale it down for about a minute. Once I knew where they were, if they're a high I, I could ramp it up to where I know that I'm comfortable and they're comfortable. If I knew that they were going to be a bit slower paced in that CS range, I would acknowledge that at the start and say, look, this is going to be a big decision for you. Let's make sure we get it right. As opposed to, this is fun, let's pick something now. Let's just run and do it. So even the first 60 seconds and that first impression that they would have of me would fit them and be the language they're more comfortable communicating in. And I'd set the expectation for them of either, let's get this done today. You seem like you're in a rush, hi D, or this will be fun. Let's find something awesome, hi I, or this is going to take time. Let's make sure it's right. Or let's make sure this is going to work for your family. You'd pick 4 initial conversation markers and they would instantly respond so much better than just one cookie cutter approach. So that first introduction process made a world of difference to obviously very, very fruitful change.
So it means that you could save time yourself and you could increase your results?
Yes, both. And it made the clients a lot more comfortable to communicate with me straight away. So if they were someone who wouldn't have purchased anyway, that's fine. I would be able to figure that out fairly quickly. So it was a very effective way to make all of my time spent with clients, on more important clients essentially, or clients that are actually prospects and willing to purchase, as opposed to with a store with an open front, you could have anyone walk in. It was in a shopping center. Some people just walked in. So very quickly qualifying and very quickly setting that first impression for both parties made a world of difference. And then the rest of it, you could just follow that through, all about that analysis and behaving how they are going to behave instead of how you want to behave.
Wow. I love, by the way, how you use that language of, how you felt more comfortable doing it that way, doing things differently. And also how your clients, you noticed how they obviously felt more comfortable when you treated them in a different way, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah. Could we just only if you're comfortable with this, right? There we go. There's the word again. Could you just share with people, without necessarily knowing numbers, but let's say percentages or so on, for example, from where we started 4 years ago to where you are today, how would you say that your income has gone up?
You could comfortably say 50 to 70% more income.
Wow. That is phenomenal. I imagine that your family would be very happy with that as well.
Yeah, more toys, more paraphernalia in the background.
Very good stuff. Yeah, love it. Well, obviously, not just business has grown, your family has grown too. So you got 2 now.
Yeah, 2 children. Thankfully, they're not here, or I would not have been able to sit down for 14 minutes and have a conversation.
That's right. I remember a few recent Zoom meetings that we had as part of the programs that you've done with me. And yeah, here and there, yeah, you were zoning out for a moment and it was a blank page. There was nothing to see.
Yeah, no, there was things that you didn't want to see on a Zoom call with 1.5-year-old children. There's things that can stay off screen.
Very diplomatically answered, and I know what the subtitles mean. Hey, well, good stuff. Hey, look, you know, we are now basically this week, we've opened up the doors to Business Development Accelerator, which is my 18 training and coaching success system for services-based business owners and services-based professionals too. And I'd like to see, like, what would you say to people that are sitting on the fence? They want to do some training and coaching. They know they want to grow their business. They want to grow their income. They want to have less stress in their business. They want to have more free time to enjoy. They want to make more money. What would you say to them, you know, if they were sitting on the fence and thinking like, should I do this Business Development Accelerator or what?
Those sorts of people are in one of two categories. They've either never done training before or they've never done training with you before, because everyone who's done training with you before will jump on this because it makes sense. The most recent long-term investment that you've placed on your students with that weekly follow-up is worth, you can't put a price on that portion of it because it's ongoing. It keeps you really accountable. If you go to a conference and you get pumped and psyched up, you spend a week doing all the things and then you stop. With the ongoing training, you peak and then it just goes back to where you were within a week or two. And having that ongoing consistent training and that follow-up and that, you know, those same like-minded business focused people who want to grow and want to make more money, having them in your back pocket for, is it 18 weeks? Is that correct?
18.
If for 18 weeks, you've got a group of people who all want to succeed and you're sharing those success stories. It's not just you. It's not just you taking away the notes that you may have written down or the couple of photos you took of some slides. You've got genuine help, excellent, smart business owners and like-minded business people who want to grow their business and make more money. You've got them with you for the whole journey. And obviously you, Bram, to answer the questions when you've got something or a client that you think, how do I approach this? You can ask. You've got a group of people who can go, oh, why don't you try this? If you want to draft an email first and ask the group, you can. You've got an enormous network of very smart people that in and of itself is worth more than any course.
Yeah, it's been a game changer. Yeah, a lot of people that have been, like a lot of members that have been in the groups recently, they've all echoed the follow-up is crucial. The sharing is crucial. The asking questions, getting feedback instantly is crucial. And then you mentioned the word accountability. It's huge, huge. Typically, when people get coaching, they will easily spend $1,000 to $2,000 a month to get coaching one-on-one. Now, if you now were to contrast that with group coaching, where you actually spend far less, how would you say that the effectiveness has been for you?
The group, obviously being an group people, I'm more geared to learn when there's other people involved. So for me, it just made sense. It would be a silly idea not to. And if I hadn't have taken on your learnings when I was working back in flooring and blinds, I would not be doing anything close to what I'm now doing and considering doing. I'd be living a different life. So and in hindsight, that's worth like so much more. As I said, 50 to 70% income increase in 4.5 years. If you could promise that to every employee, you'd never lose an employee.
So true. Good point. That's it. Hey, look, it's been always a pleasure talking to you and hearing your story and you sharing it with others. I find it very inspiring, your story, you know, and I've seen you grow so much over the years. And I'm excited for you about, you know, where the future is taking you, Chris.
Me too.
Yeah, and there's a lot of cool stuff brewing, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Awesome. All right. Well, look, I'm going to let you off the hook. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story with everybody who will be viewing this today. You've been put on the hot seat and you've done phenomenally well, as always. And mate, thank you so much. We'll see you again soon and wish you a great rest of the day. All right.
Thanks, Bram. You too.
All right. Bye-bye. Wow. What a great story. What a great story. How did you guys like that, guys? Let us know in the chat box. What have you taken out of that? What was inspiring for you? Let us know in the chat window. I'm just going to have a quick look. I've got my next guest who sent me a message. So let me just reply to him very quickly. Yes. That's it. So he should be coming in just a moment. Let's see now. All right. So we just need to wait for a little moment more. But so in recap, Chris has been on a journey, initially starting off as a salesperson dedicated in a store, selling basically floorings and blinds to people that walked in. Also a lot of home visits where he would advise them on what to do. And then basically has really now grown, has grown so much that he's now selling business to business services in the millions of dollars per contract. I've got, by the way, the next gentleman coming in, so I'm just going to invite him already in. Hello, Rade.
Hello.
How are you going?
I'm very, very good. Thank you. Hope yourself too.
I am doing fantastic, and I'm glad to see, because I know that you're a very, very busy man, and that I'm glad that the technology is working in our favor. So good work.
I done my best.
Well, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. It looks like you're on the road.
Yes. I am on a short notice. I was called to assist a good friend of mine who is very well known to you, former mayor of Adelaide, Martin Hazy, and his wife.
Okay.
And that's why I'm right near here on Hertel Square, and where the property is, and I'm just down in the car park because of this.
Wonderful. Hey, well, look, it's so good to see you again. Rade, you and I have been on a journey for about, I'd say 3 years, maybe, something like
Correct.
that.
Yes.
Yeah. We obviously also, there was a person that brought us together, which happens to be your daughter, who was yesterday on the same interview seat.
Yeah.
So Sonia did it phenomenally well. Just tell us very quickly, who are you and what do you do in business?
Well, I am in commercial cleaning services for now 26 years on my own. Before that, I was 4 years in partnership. We specialize in private schools and colleges, not by accident, but because they have, first of all, they're taking a lot of pride in what they're doing and how they're presenting themselves to the parents and the community. Secondly, schools have a lot of flooring, specifically resilient flooring, which is my, with all level of humbleness that I can say, my expertise. That I used to teach on College of TAFE in Regency Park for 11 years, floor restoration and maintenance, and together with Jake Pryor from Campbell's Chemicals at that time. And since schools have that, I am able to excel in that area and present to them that the floors are the first thing that people react on, visualizing how clean the school is. And I proved to the first one. And here we are today, servicing 8 of private schools and colleges throughout Adelaide, and keep growing.
And that's so great. And you're always, let's say, somewhere in South Australia on the road to service your clients and work with your team. You've got quite a substantial team. Could you share a little bit more?
47 team on board now, and 9 of us in management. That makes 56 of us, and we're forever growing in that. The greatest growth we had in from the beginning of trading was last year. To some people that may be surprising because it was COVID year. A lot of businesses found that to be detrimental to them and to their growth and to their development and to their survival existence, how to say it. But we found that we exploded. That was the best year in business. The last business quarter of 2020 was bigger than the previous 3 quarters put together. And when I am to say that, I would have to say and to point the finger to you, Bram, because a lot of those things that happened during 2020 that I was able to be the solution to the problem is thankfully to your guidance, to your instructions, to the courses that I went through with you, and specifically one thing, asking, evaluating questions. And that is where we are today. That is how we strengthen our position with our schools, simply because asking those evaluating questions lead us how we can become a solution to their problems, and the rest is history.
That's so inspiring, Rade. And yes, I know that you have done very well in becoming a doctor of questions, to ask better probing questions that allowed you to grow businesses and help more clients with your services, right?
Correct. I can tell you that with one of our clients, that one of our schools, asking those and probing those questions to the client, we went from cleaning services and basic supplies to all the supplies to the schools. We went to hygiene services to the schools. We went to taking care of oval because they guy due to health had to resign, and then from the ovals we went to all the ground services and all the gardens and all the plants and trees and the whole maintenance of the school is in our hands, and contract in less than 12 months went from 196,300 to 343,000.
Wow, that is amazing. And well done for you. And by the way, it just goes to show that there's never stop on learning. I remember one of your Facebook posts when you graduated with a certificate that you said, hey, dear clients, we keep investing in ourselves and in our staff so that we can better serve you, and age is not an issue, right?
Yes, and I never stop doing that, because the moment you stop learning and growing, it's the moment you start dying and going backwards in life. Yesterday I was attending a business SA seminar all day long, from 9:30 till 4:30. One of our common friends was there, Sam Daines, and there were topics in business, and me and my wife went both so that we can actually attend different topics at the same time, so that we don't miss on anything, all topics that are relevant for business development and growth and sustainability.
Wonderful. Hey, I really say kudos to you, because I love your forever learning your mind, and the fact that you're always there with your heart to serve more of your clients. You look after your staff phenomenally well. They're like family. I've seen them being around for a long time. And same, the loyalty you also have with your clients, because they've been long-standing clients as well.
Absolutely. I would say with sadness, when I finish this meeting, I have to drive to Maitland to relieve my team member that is there. He's from Myanmar, and yesterday they just got the news that their teenage family member was shot by this military junta there that doing this horrific stuff in Myanmar, and because on a short notice I can't raise anyone to go and relieve him, so I said no worries, I'll come there to release you so you can come and mourn with your family, and I'll be there for the rest of the week to take care of the client and clean myself. Simple as that.
Wow, that's a really sad story you just shared there. I'm so sorry for the staff member that is now mourning this tragic loss.
Yes, but yeah, it's both my client that need to be taken care of and my team member that need to be with the family to mourn. And this, I don't need to think twice. What do I need to do?
Sure. Hey, well, look, I remember us both rocking up at networking events at 6 a.m, always with a smile. Sometimes we would have been working until 2 a.m, 4 hours of sleep or less, actually less probably. And you were always there saying, hey, I can do this, right? Your attitude is phenomenal, Rade.
Absolutely. I can thank my father for that, being the role model that he wouldn't know how to spell word that only have 2 letters. No, he don't know how to spell that. It's always yes always yes. And if we don't know how, along the way, we'll find a way. Let's get this done.
Well, sometimes it's good not to know how to spell a word. In this case, it is.
Yes, and that's probably what saw the phenomenal growth during the COVID year. That and without fail, without those lessons that extremely valuable that I learned from you, and your business is fantastic that I'm telling everyone about. It literally shaped me to be there for my clients and to become an answer to every problem that they may encounter. That at the moment I can show you emails, support you with emails, that what kind of questions they sending to me, just in case, because they don't know the answer to it, but we know who may potentially have the answer. It's Rade. Hey, Rade, we're about to buy this furniture. We don't know about the finished product, whether we should go for matte or for semi-gloss or for... Can you look into the pictures and tell us which one to buy?
Wow. So that means you really have earned a trusted advisor status because of the way that you deal with him. That is great. Rade, just I'm mindful of time here, and I know that you've got your meeting to go to as well. If I were to just ask you in closure, how would you quantify the return on your time and money invested in my courses? How would you say that has helped you?
Quite simple. We know, we done the stats. We literally on Friday, I'm meeting accountant to sign the paperwork for the tax year to date. We know that we grew 35%.
Wow, 35% growth.
Correct.
Oh, well done. Congratulations. I'm super excited.
Hey, thank you.
That is so good. Well, look, it means that, and obviously it's a family business, that, your wife is partially involved in management. Your daughter is partially involved. I think sometimes your son, even though he lives elsewhere, he also is an advisor to your business. So it's great to see that everybody is on deck here with you.
Absolutely, always was, and I even if I am to try to eliminate them out of that, they would see that as a greatest disappointment, and regardless how busy they are in their personal businesses.
That's it. Well, they're all people that are committed to making a difference out there, and they're all successful in their own right. So, hey, it's a real pleasure that you came on board and that you took time out of your very busy schedule. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And we'll obviously be in touch again.
With greatest pleasure, Bram. I can't say enough about what kind of person and a friend I gain in you, and what kind of expert and professional I gain through your business. And the assistance, and then the readiness to advise and to help without expecting anything in return. Kudos to you, mate. There is no one business coach that I met in my life, and I met many of them, that can come close to that.
Thank you so much. Coming from you, it means a whole lot to me. Thank you, Rade.
Thank you very much for everything.
Have a great day, all right?
You too.
Safe travels as well.
Thank you.
All right. Well, there you go. So that I can see that my next guest is also waiting in the waiting room. Thank you so much for being available. And look, in quick summary, yes, we are right now in this week opened the doors to Business Development Accelerator, and it's such a great way to do it. I just love not just having the training. The training is great. The information is great. Yes, you heard people talk about it. But I think really what I've heard time and time again, people echo, over the last few days, is that they get so much value from being held accountable and having a support network and a coach on their side for a total duration of 18 weeks. That is really what Business Development Accelerator is about, is to help you as a business owner, particularly if you offer services, to accelerate your business results, so that you save time, you have more time to enjoy life because you work smarter. Secondly, so that you make more money, because obviously, ultimately, that's how you will be able to grow your business, employ more staff, and help more clients. And of course, also have the little shiny objects that you want along the way. You want to have more freedom, and of course also have less stress. And it's all possible, but it's about finding the right things to put into your business. Now, without further ado, I'm going to beautifully on time. We're doing well. Invite my next guest here, which is the last one for today, into today's live stream. I would say a warm, big welcome to our good old friend, Julian Robbins, aka Jules. Hello, Jules. How are you going?
I'm very good, Bram. How are you, mate?
Doing very well, thank you. Appreciate you being nicely on time. You've prepared well. Could you just give us a quick rundown in terms of who you are and what your business is, Jules?
Yeah, Julian Robbins. The business is HC Virtual Assistants, and we help businesses buy back their time.
That's it. That is in itself a great business model, a great service to offer there. And we're obviously in chats for some more collaboration in that space as well, Jules. So stay posted on that. Now, appreciate you coming in. You've been on the journey with me for a while as well in various programs. You've done Communication Mastery 1. You've done Communication Mastery 2.0. You've done Business Development Academy 1. Did you do 2 as well?
2.
2 as well. That's right. Yes. I kind of had a blank thing. So you basically have done the entire package already. Could you just give us a bit of share a story, for example, in terms of a difference that the courses have made for you?
I'll do the first one of Communication Mastery. A lot of people have heard of DISC. A lot of people know about DISC or think they know about DISC, but in fairness, Bram, and without patting you too much on the back, your courses bring that alive for people in their world, in their business world. That's what it was for me anyway. I'd learned about DISC many years ago, and there's various different types of personality styles, but it just helps you understand that people, if you're in sales and marketing, it helps you understand that your clients process things differently. They buy differently. They need different cues. And if you're not aware of that, you're missing out. You're missing out hugely. And that's one thing that you brought to life. It hit home for me, massively hit home for me. Being, I'd call myself now, with the gray hair, a seasoned sales professional, but there's always something new there to learn.
That's wonderful. You alluded to the fact that sometimes if people are not equipped with this information, process, and system and the know-how, you mentioned that people actually miss out. Could you spell that out, Leary, how people would be missing out?
Oh, yeah. Well, you did it quite cleverly. DISC obviously is 4 styles of personality. You're going to have a dominant personality yourself. You're likely to attract attracts like. And if you only attract clients that are like you, you're missing out on 3/4 of the market, on the other styles, if you don't understand that. Now, in fairness, a lot of salespeople, if they are good at their craft, they will do their meeting preparation beforehand, but quite often it's on the business. It's on what the company requires. It's on how it relates to your product or service. It's not about the person that they're sat in front of. They know their name and who they are, but they're not looking at them as a person, as their personality style. If you're not doing that, you could be missing out massively. Or if you're talking to a group of people or a board, you need to have done your meeting pre-prep. So a standout for me was now looking at my own style through your course and through the training, looking at my own style, natural style, but then also looking and doing some pre-meeting preparation on the person that I'm actually sitting down with, looking at their LinkedIn profile. If they're the business owner, looking at their website. They may not have developed it, but the words, the pictures would have resonated with them, or they would have got the developer to change it. So it says something to you, and trying to work out the style of the person that you're going to be sat down with and how you need to amend your communication strategy for their benefit.
That's it. So basically what you're saying is you know now what to look out for, and you know how to prepare pretty quickly to have more impact and therefore be easier to relate to and convert prospects, correct?
Definitely.
Okay.
And it's helped us. If you're after results, so as you can see, I'm looking down. I've taken notes because there's an awful lot to take in from your courses, but we've actually, as a business, I've increased my sales conversion by a further 30% after attending
Wow.
your course. Okay.
And you're already doing a whole lot of conversions anyway.
Yeah. So in sales, you know your numbers, obviously, or you ought to, and that leads you into Business Development Academy 2.0. But I can actually track that from that pre-meeting preparation of the personality of the person I was sat down with, and how to amend myself or just think about the communication strategy going in. Do they need more visuals? Do they need, are they short on time? If they're a high D, do they need results? Do they need the time investment? Just amending yourself accordingly gives you a higher hit rate. Mine's been 30%, a further 30%.
That is phenomenal. I mean, seriously, when you're already converting, I think your normal conversion ratio would be easily like at the 70% mark normally?
65, 70.
So then adding another 30% conversions more to it, it gets you really in top echelon. So well done. Kudos to you.
If they're in the middle of, if they're in their buying cycle, then pretty much conversion is 1-for-1.
Wow, that is phenomenal. Now, Jules, obviously, like many people that actually have been on this call, you're originally a POM. I say that respectfully.
Yeah.
You migrated here. I know that you had your own business already over there. You were super successful. You've done lots of training. If you say if you were to give people a bit of a rundown, like, hey, this is what I've done before, and this is now the difference that, I've seen with Bram, like, how would you verbalize that?
If you're speaking about Business Development Academy, and I think you are, yes, I've trained salespeople. So I've trained my own sales teams to be high converters. I wrote something down here that for me, Business Development Academy was for the seasoned salesperson. It's a fantastic refresher for the skills that you already know, as well as Bram brings a nice twist to bring back the basics and inject the basics that we all forget or move away from. For new salespeople, it's a no-brainer. It's everything you need to know. Get on it. Yeah, you're missing out if you don't. The standouts for me of Business Development Academy, whether it's a refresher or new for me, what you call HVTs, high value tasks, and just linking it with time blocking. We're all busy people. We all get distracted, but it's looking at your time investment in your tasks in your week. And that's what you really bring back there for the salesperson's organization to maximize hitting their goals. The natural other element, similar to your book, but is focusing on the emotional. Yeah. And that marries in nicely. And in fairness, it's why I did both courses. It marries in nicely with communication mastery, because communication mastery helps you gain that emotional buy-in. We all know that people buy emotionally, but it helps you so much more.
That's so good.
Lastly,
okay.
The one thing that hit home, and I hate the word of customer avatar. I hate buzzwords. I don't like buzzwords, but customer avatar or customer profile, I'm a bit more old school. Taking that nugget from your course, we took that nugget and ran with it and really drilled down and nailed who are our best clients, what is our best customer profile, and then in what industry. And recently, in the last 6 months, we have, in our first time in our 20-year history, advertised digitally. And
yep, I'm familiar with that.
through actually using that customer avatar and what you go through in the course, we nailed down a particular customer in particular industry type. We've now launched a marketing campaign within that industry. And from our inquiries, we've had a conversion rate of over 20%, which is pretty high on the digital side.
It's very good, very high indeed. Those numbers there, that's really cold traffic that you are getting ready to jump on a call with you.
Yeah.
That is exceptionally high. Well done. And hey,
we utilize the avatar piece to funnel them. Yeah, funnel out the tire kickers, so to speak.
Because you want to spend your time with the right people, like people that are serious, people that are really, willing to invest in your services. And so, yeah, if you can filter them out early in the piece, you got more time for people that are actually serious.
That's right.
I love how you said that. And what I'm hearing here all the time is that, you've done a lot of training before, you've done lots of courses, you've read lots of stuff, and you keep training and educating yourself. You've educated other people on how to do it. And I think what I'm hearing is that even though we're touching on DISC, a lot of people might know about it and might think, as you said, that they know about it. So the information is kind of out there. There's a certain awareness around it. You said also in terms of your business development process and things like avatars, that notion is living out there as well. But what I'm hearing you say, Jules, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that by coming into the course, something really flipped around the notion of it and it became very practical and it allowed you to get results quickly because of the way that we went through the course.
Yeah, putting it the course, both courses help the way in which you deliver them helps people put them into their practical action within their sphere.
That's it. And that's obviously what it is, because it's not just about knowledge. It's about what you can do with it that actually gets you results.
Yeah. And the activities in the course, the interaction with other delegates, especially communication mastery, because of the different types of personalities, it's an awakening to a lot of people, some of the exercises that you do. So it was very beneficial. I'd recommend it, definitely.
Well, much appreciated. Well, look, something has a bit changed since, since you have gone through the program. So I figured out, I've asked myself the question, having had lots of conversations with, you and all your peers, what is really driving, making it take us to the next level. And I've heard a lot, it's about having the ongoing. You go into the course and you've got the ongoing, you've got the coaching, you've got the accountability, you've got your peer network to reference. You can go back and revisit. You can do something at work and come back and share it with the group and get feedback. So what we have done since is now this week we're opened the doors to Business Development Accelerator. And it's a combination of the programs that you just have been talking about, Communication Mastery and Business Development Academy, but put in line with 16 weeks of coaching, combining 18 weeks. It's a training and coaching success system, combining everything that you've done plus a few extra tools. I remember that by the way, you showed me very well on your iPad how you've taken a snapshot of one of my tools. And basically now religiously for every client meeting, you use it and make notes within your iPad, right?
Yep. That's the meeting pre-prep.
That's it.
Yeah.
The meeting magic prep sheet. That's right.
You talk about the ongoing. People know about DISC. You can learn something, but we all forget it. And you're quite right. It's the ongoing. So yes, I do use that for prepping meetings that I'm going into, negotiations, anything of that nature. Why? Because every time you do it, it's a refresher. It makes you think. You're not learning it and trying to put it into practice. You are doing it every single time if you're meeting people regularly.
Hey, and you have probably been the first one who really, got back to me and said how excited you were about that tool and how you were using it. And then when you showed it to me, I was like, wow, this is so cool. I love this.
But simple things are the best. Simple things are the best.
That's it. I always say everybody can make things complicated, but it takes a genius to dumb it down so that it gets done. because otherwise we got too many reasons and excuses to delay and procrastinate on stuff that we know is of value. You mentioned the high value task. If we know that something is important, like preparation, which you do in 5 minutes, well, then it's a no-brainer to do it. But it needs to be simple enough to be able to get to it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
Well, look, Jules, it's been a pleasure. I know you're a super busy man. You got a lot of stuff going on. You got lots of staff to also look after overseas. Like, how many people do you got again on your team now?
The company as a whole now, just a little under 170.
170 staff. Whoa! You're feeding a lot of mouths and families, mate. Good on you.
Helping a lot of businesses.
Sorry?
Helping a lot of businesses here too, which is great.
You're helping a lot of businesses, and you are on my to-do list to follow up to this, take the conversation that we started up to the next level. Okay?
No worries. All good.
Appreciate your time today, Jules. Thank you so much, and I appreciate also your preparation that you did earlier.
No problem. Cheers, Bram.
Have a good day. See you, Jules. Bye-bye. So there you go, everybody. This is my third guest that was very helpful in coming in today to share his stories with you. 30% increase in conversions by doing 2 programs with me, which are part of Business Development Accelerator. And there's a lot more included. Why? It's because we are really passionate about working with other services-based professionals to really amp it up, to help them to get smarter in the business, to reactivate knowledge that might have existed, but actually help them to apply it again in a meaningful way so that, yes, they have more time to enjoy life with their family. They have more money that they're making so that they personally are benefiting from it, and they can keep investing in their teams and scale up and grow. And of course, we want more freedom as business owners. So you've heard a lot of people say that here already, and of course have less stress. All of this is the sort of outcomes that we help other businesses owners with, specifically services-based business owners who are looking for growth and are saying, hey, I want some support. I want a peer of like-minded people to surround myself with and go through an accelerated process to accelerate business results. This is what we're now basically opened up this week. We are going to close the doors to Business Development Accelerator Friday at midnight in South Australian time, which means we've got a few more days left to to basically go through the process and get yourself in the seats, because seats are limited. Even though we do this online, we make sure that we have enough time for our members that are coming on board to really guide them through the process. There's a bit of one-on-one work we do prior to the first masterclass. The first masterclass being Communication Mastery, which will be live in Adelaide on the 26th of May. And then we've got the online masterclass for the same people, but people that basically would be interstate or overseas. And that will be on the 1st of June. That's basically the first masterclass to really build the ground or the foundations, so to speak. And afterwards, we keep building from there. I'm obviously using an analogy, but it's an analogy to really make sure that your business is built on strong foundations, and that you position yourself as a business owner in the best possible ways to convert a lot of opportunities, more so than you might do today. You've heard Jules say that even though he's a seasoned sales professional and has been around the traps for a long time, his closing rate is already exceptionally high, and he's even added another 30% growth as a result of that. You've heard Rade grow his business 35% in the last year. Of course, COVID was some help there, but it's also, of course, him knowing how to ask better questions, to really become a psychologist like me in the way that he converses with his clients so that he becomes a trusted advisor. I think a lot of people think that they are trusted advisors, but it's only up until the point where your clients start ringing you and emailing you for everything, and where your fees don't get discussed or negotiated on. That's only testament then that you have earned your status of trusted advisors. You cannot say that you are one unless your client acknowledges that you are. And that is really a huge difference there. Now, I'm going to just share again that if you would like to find out more about Business Development Accelerator, what you do is there is a link here in the comment section, which is www.bramlaguru.com/ LV4. If you go there, you basically are now coming into the Business Development Accelerator landing page, where I show you a 15-minute presentation on what exactly is involved. And as you are watching the video, what will happen is around the 10-minute mark, it's about 15 minutes long, more information will unlock under the video, which basically gives you the entire rundown in terms of what you can expect, what the process looks like, the 18 weeks of training and coaching, and the fact that there's a money back guarantee, and so on and so forth, to just really give you peace of mind knowing that, yes, it might be a little bit of an investment. Yes, it might be a bit of, let's say, you might be a bit concerned about it, and you might be a bit fearful, like, is this going to be the right decision? Can I afford this? Should I go with, maximum savings through a single payment, or, through a monthly payment plan where I spread the payment conveniently over 12 months? This and a lot more is all on that website link. Now, I just want to kind of close up for today in the next few minutes, just with the following. You could say right now, hey, but I don't have time for this, Bram. I would ask you then, well, can you tell that your time is now really optimally used? Are you working the amount of hours you want in your business, or are you working more? If you are working more, it just means that you're not working smart enough yet. And that's what Business Development Accelerator could help you do. If you were to say, I'm concerned about the money. Like I said, if you don't change, nothing will change. And so you might ask yourself, is it okay to potentially invest something to kind of get the process started? Even if you do a payment plan, you don't have to find it all at the same time and invest it. You can pretty much put your toes in the water and get the process started. And, if it then feels right, you just continue on, right? Like I said, you are still backed with a 100% money back guarantee, because I know that this process works. You've heard people yesterday say, Sonia shared it. We had, of course, Rade today. We had Jules today. We had Simon Derek Roberts yesterday as well. We had all these people go through the process and, yes, come out on the other side and get results. Now, whether those results are monetary, personally, mindset-like, sometimes people are their own worst enemies and they sabotaging themselves and their results and success. Guess what? We work on mindset. Yes, we work on skills. We work on strategies. We work on tips and ideas to fast track results. We work on your sales process and business development process. Heck, we even work on your marketing process to have your marketing advertising be more effective, convert more at a higher level, which was one of the things that Jules also commented on. 20% conversions out of cold traffic borrowed online. Imagine that. That is huge. That's a high number to get from people that just are inquiring on a website by just following the steps and knowing how to relate to them, because you know who you want to work with, you know your ideal client, and you know what industry they're in. That's when you can really communicate persuasively, effectively, and create buy-in. Now, without further ado, again, I encourage everybody to at least check out the page, right, and go through it. If you have questions on the website as well, especially as you have been watching through the entire video, you will find that there will be an email address at the bottom of the page that will answer any further questions you might have. But once again, the reminder is that we are closing the doors to Business Development Accelerator for this time of the year. It is a closed group, and that will be closing Friday at midnight South Australian time. So that's just how we do it. We see it as a college class in which people basically say, yes, we're going to subscribe or enroll for this course. Then we pretty much close the doors and onboard them in the process, take them through it, and service them to the maximum capacity. And speaking of maximum capacity, we are maximally taking in 24 people on this occasion. That's just how we can really service you in the best possible way and can make sure that you get value for both the time, the energy, and also the money that you are investing in this program. Now, this is obviously an investment in you. It's an investment in your future. It's an investment in your business, and it's an investment in your earning potential so that you can look after your team, your staff, and of course, your family and loved ones. Now, I'm going to wrap it up for today. If there's anything else, please let us know. We look forward to hearing from you. Business Development Accelerator is open and will be closing on Friday. Now, one question you might have, what happens if I don't, let's say, register or enroll for the program before then? It just means that you're going to continue spinning your wheels for a little bit longer, that you're going to still leave a lot of money on the table until we open it up next time, which is quite far away from now. And it also means that you're just going to lose out of valuable opportunities right now that could make you more money right now if you were to know how, could help you save a lot of valuable time so that you can actually spend it somewhere else. And it will just cause you more stress if you don't have access to it right now. It's just how it is, guys. So you can keep doing what you're doing and then kind of, feel whatever you feel about it. Or you can look at making changes for the better. Changes that will help you, your family, your staff, and ultimately your clients. Because the more you look after your clients, the more they look after you. My name is Bram. I appreciate you guys joining and look forward to seeing everybody rock up as of next week when we're kicking off the program. But the doors are closing this Friday at midnight, South Australian time. Thanks again, guys. Thanks also for the likes, the comments, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. My name is Bram.